Welcome back to Beyond the Forecast. We've switched sides on you. Now we're in the southern part of Cumberland County near Hunter's Run, and we're talking about what you see behind me. We're right on the fringes of it now, South Mountain. Now, just like any elevated area, they can get snow in the higher elevations when the lower elevations in the valleys get rain. Now, in fact, South Mountain seems to get the earliest snow in the fall, and most often the latest snow comes spring. The area is also known to get some nasty ice storms, but the rain and snow can lead to more annual precipitation up on the mountain. With storms coming up out of the south, the extra lift of the mountains can create more precipitation than for areas in lower elevations nearby. The blue on this map shows annual precipitation around 50 inches. In the nearby valley, only 40 inches. Now, on the southeastern side of South Mountain lies the fourth geological region of central Pennsylvania. Through the magic of television, let's take you now to the Piedmont. Welcome to Paradise. Paradise Township, that is, here in York County. It's what geologists refer to as the Piedmont region. We simply refer to it as the rolling hills part of south central Pennsylvania. And it is an area that is heavily farmed, and for good reason. In the summer months, it's a region that can get rain when others don't. Watch this radar loop. As storms push through the mountains, they lose their steam. But when they hit the Piedmont, they fire right back up and drop a lot of rain. Part of the reason is because of the Piedmont's proximity to the Chesapeake Bay. This creates an atmospheric river of moisture that helps promote the heavy downpours. Areas farther north and west are too far removed from this influence. This river of muggy air can also create problems in the Piedmont. The region typically sees more tornadoes annually than the rest of central PA. The muggy air adds an extra ingredient to severe thunderstorms that can occasionally spawn a tornado. Meteorologists have even dubbed the Piedmont as a mini tornado alley in Pennsylvania.
It's nothing like the tornado alley in the plains, of course, where there's hundreds of tornadoes a year. But in a state as large as Pennsylvania, there's a little higher likelihood down here in our neck of the woods than there is, say, in State College.
You know, it's interesting. I was out there shooting it with the photographer, and just driving 10, 15, 20 miles, you really do go throughout a variety of geological formations. We almost take it for granted. You know, people that live in the Great Valley, first of all, may not even know it's the Great Valley, but they live there, they see the hills off in the distance, they just think that's how it is. But we live in a really varied area.
And I think it's pretty awesome to actually hear how it was formed, and how awesome it would be to take a time lapse of the last 150 million years to actually see how south central Pennsylvania is now the way it is.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome stuff. Hey, now looking back on our summer, I'm sure many of us traveled east for a relaxing vacation at the beach, or maybe went a few hours northwest for a fishing trip on Lake Erie.
Yeah, these large bodies of water can bring some big storms to the mid-state and affect the overall climate.
It's time for meteorologist Dan Tomaso to get sciencey to explain.
A fundamental part of understanding meteorology is knowing how weather systems are affected by land and water. In general, low-pressure systems that originate and move over land bring far less moisture than storms that have their roots from bodies of water. Classic examples are light snow events called clipper systems that move across southern Canada and the northern United States. In comparison, coastal low snowstorms bring much more wintry weather and our heaviest snowstorms here in Pennsylvania. The contrast between land and water is also very important for the process of cyclogenesis, or the process of storm generation, as you see here. In the wintertime, air masses over the land and on the east coast are cooler than the nearby air masses over water. This temperature contrast creates a baroclinic zone, an area that is favorable for storm development, as seen here. Now, such baroclinic zones enhance the development of large and destructive winter storms too, including the blizzard of 1993, which formed over warm Gulf of Mexico waters as cold air plunged south. Now, other localized big snowstorms have been generated thanks to smaller bodies of water, the Great Lakes. Now, cold air blows over the warmer lake waters, and this drives the process of convection, creating hard-hitting snow-making clouds. The areas affected by large lake effect snowfall events are really determined by the direction of wind over the Great Lakes. But some famous places for lake effect snow include the Tug Hill Plateau of New York between Watertown and Syracuse, seen here in blue, And also northwestern Pennsylvania is a very near and dear place that sees a lot of snow. Very rarely, though, do these lake effect snowstorms extend far from northwestern Pennsylvania, but sometimes our counties of Mifflin, Juniata, Perry, and Cumberland, even sometimes Franklin, can see a few flakes from long-lived snowstorm bands. For Beyond the Forecast, I'm meteorologist Dan Tomaso.
You know, I always tell people I broke the mold a little bit. I'm a Syracuse grad. You guys all went to Penn State,
right.
But Syracuse got a lot of lake effect snow, but Penn State did as well.
Yeah, we would see a few inches of lake effect snow from time to time. Around here, though, our big plow-busting snows comes from the nor'easters and a lot of those storms coming up from the Atlantic Ocean.
But it's interesting. Both of them have connections to the big bodies of water, like Great Lakes or Atlantic Ocean, just like Dan said. Well, stay with us. We have much more coming up after the break.
Meteorologist Brett Thakra looks between the lines of latitude. You're watching Beyond the Forecast, the climate of Central PA on ABC 27.